and welcome back to our channel. If you're new around here, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ben.
And we are the Map Pinners. We are a channel that provides travel tips, tricks, and exciting vlogs from around the world.
Today's topic is climate conscious traveling. So after COVID-19, the biggest struggle that is going to face travelers in the 2020s is going to be trying to find a balance between their love of traveling, but also the need to be more sustainable in a worsening global climate.
So while it's hard for many travelers to be completely carbon neutral, especially nowadays when there's not a lot of non-carbon transportation options out there right now, there are ways that you can reduce your carbon footprint while traveling.
So without further ado, here are our top tips for how to travel more sustainably in 2021.
So first off, when choosing transportation options, try to find ones that don't emit a ton of carbon. The unfortunate reality is that airplanes are the worst carbon emitters out there when it comes to transportation.
Besides spaceships. To put it in perspective for you, a flight from London to New York City emits about 0.67 tons of CO2 per passenger, according to the International Civil Aviation Organization. Sorry, that's a mouthful. That is roughly equal to 11% of what someone in the UK emits per year, and actually the same as what somebody from Ghana emits per year.
It's so much. It's been really hard for us to come to grips with just how bad flying is for the environment because we love travel. And to be completely honest, I don't think we'll ever completely stop flying. It's just that this information has definitely enlightened us and is making us rethink how we want to start planning our future trips. Basically, we're gonna fly only when it's absolutely necessary.
While flying is the only way to get to many places in the world, try to limit the amount of times you fly during your trip. So maybe once you fly to another part of the world, like say from North America to Europe, choose other forms of transportation that are a little bit more sustainable, like trains and buses, rather than flying to every destination you want to go to.
Trains can often be the best option for you because so many of them are electric, but they're also sometimes the most expensive option out there. Many buses still run on gas and diesel, but apparently electric buses are not too far away in the future. Flixbus is already testing electric buses in California and in some places in Europe as well. Because of consumer demand for more eco-friendly options out there, it is likely that these electric buses will dramatically increase in the coming years.
Unfortunately, climate-friendly electric airplanes are still a ways off from coming into commercial use. The problem is the amount of space that a battery takes up on a plane is a lot more than the amount of space that gas takes up on a plane. So while companies like Airbus and Boeing are currently testing out electric planes, we are still likely at least 10 years out from seeing one in commercial use.
I just think it's cool that the option's potentially there though in the future.
Eventually, yeah. It eventually will get there.
It out, so.
You gotta make the batteries a lot smaller.
Yeah, because you can't make the people a lot smaller.
You can't, unless we get shrinking technology.
That would be cool.
Like Honey,
I think we should start investing in that.
Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
However, many airlines are starting to take action in other ways to make themselves more carbon neutral. Many companies in the airline industry are deciding to invest some of their annual income to actually try and offset their carbon emissions that they consume annually. So they're investing in things like renewable energy. What about with forest conservation? And what's the other one again?
And carbon capture technology.
Yes.
So like literally pulling carbon out of the air. So if you do choose to fly, you might want to try donating to one of the many carbon offsetting projects out there. So airlines like Delta in the US and Qantas in Australia actually offer many options for carbon offsetting projects for you to consider. Check out the link below to Delta's Offset Your Flight page for more information.
So while those types of initiatives are great, we personally choose to donate to Tomorrow's Air. So Tomorrow's Air partners with an initiative called Climeworks, which is based in Switzerland that does this thing that it actually like pulls carbon out from the air. So if you're interested in learning more about it or donating yourself, we've included a link to Tomorrow's Air down below.
Carbon capture technology is still a relatively new thing, but it is really exciting because it offers a great way to potentially reverse the effects of climate change throughout the world because it can pull carbon out of the air much faster than, say, planting a bunch of trees in a forest. While investing in carbon offsetting projects doesn't completely make up for the cost of flying, and it shouldn't be used as an excuse to fly a lot, Investing in projects that can produce more oxygen for the earth or take carbon out of the atmosphere will go a long way in the fight against climate change, so consider doing it.
Our next tip is to try and stay in destinations longer so that you can limit the amount of traveling that you do while on vacation.
The part of travel that leads to the most emission of carbon is the part where you have to get to point A to point B. So instead of taking a trip where you're trying to fit in 10 destinations in like a couple of weeks, try to choose 1 or 2 destinations to stay in much longer to give you more of like an in-depth feel of the culture.
Yeah. Staying in a destination for a longer period of time can not only reduce your carbon footprint, but it can also give you a chance to sort of live and get to know a place a lot better. For our final section of tips for this video is when you are in a destination, try to reduce the amount of waste that you use and produce as much as possible. With the drastic rise of tourism that we've seen in the last 10 years or so, not including 2020, there has been also an increase in just the amount of trash and waste that has been produced by tourists and just not taken care of all around the world at tourist destinations.
To make sure that you aren't contributing to this, here are some top ways that you can reduce the amount of waste that you use while traveling. Number 1, bring your own water bottle, so you don't have to rely on plastic water bottles while you're out and about. You could even bring a filtered water bottle if where you're going doesn't have a reliable water source. That's a great way to just filter out all the bad stuff and still make it drinkable, but plastic water bottles are a huge contributor to waste in a lot of tourist destinations.
Tip number 2 is bring a reusable grocery bag. We also have recently invested in reusable produce bags, which I'll let you talk about.
I honestly like these, even just beyond them being sustainable, because you don't have to spend 5 minutes trying to get the stupid plastic produce bags open like by licking your hands and stuff. So really handy.
But yeah, I mean, they're so small you could easily just like, this isn't not how I suggest you pack it, but they're very small, compactable, and you could absolutely throw it in your bag.
So if you're planning to get groceries for cooking in an Airbnb or something, definitely consider bringing these, or even for just carrying other stuff. They're really nice.
For our third tip is we would also encourage to maybe invest in some higher quality brands that are eco-friendly. So for example, Patagonia, their jackets might be a little bit more expensive, but their products are very eco-friendly, and even if you like rip your jacket or a sweater or something like that, you can send it in for them to repair, I think for free.
For free, yep.
Yeah, okay, so for free, and you know, you can basically wear it for life. That's the whole concept behind it, which is great.
Yeah, higher quality clothes, as Rachel said, are more expensive, but they can last a lot longer.
Yeah.
Honestly, the quality makes a huge difference, but also you don't have to buy as many things to replace them, which in the long term, maybe will make them even cheaper of an investment because you don't have to keep replacing these cheap things that you buy.
So the same goes for suitcases as well. If you invest in maybe more expensive bags that are very eco-friendly, you will likely not have to reinvest and buy more things, so it's better for the environment.
This last one is a little bit tough for us because we're both meat lovers, but you might want to consider cutting down the amount of meat that you eat while traveling because the meat industry is such a large emitter of carbon around the world. One app that we suggest checking out is Happy Cow, which actually has a selection of vegetarian, vegan options around the world. It's kind of like Google Maps, but just specifically for vegan and vegetarian options. And they'll find the nearest restaurant with vegan or vegetarian options on it, so you can easily find one wherever you are.
So climate conscious travel is obviously a really large topic to touch on in just one video.
Yeah.
And we really want to iterate that we are not perfect.
No.
This research and our goal to travel more climate consciously is something that we are starting to work on and we will continue to work on in the coming years.
Not gonna happen overnight.
No, absolutely not. But we wanted to take this opportunity to just share the information and the research that we've gathered today with you if this is something that also interests you as well.
So let us know what you think of our tips. If you have more tips for how to travel more climate consciously, feel free to throw them down in the comment section below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. If you like the information that you heard today, excuse me, feel free to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.